On this computer. Hello, welcome to ABC, Adoptees Born in China podcast. This is Tara, per usual, and today I am here with a fellow Bobcat. Now, what does that even mean? It means I went to the same university as Mimi, and you're currently there. You're almost done your undergrad, I believe.
Yes.
Are you in your last year?
Yes, I'm currently a senior journalism major at Ohio University, and I'm just now finishing up my fall semester, and I will graduate in the spring.
Oh my goodness. Takes me back to almost 10 years ago. It has almost been 10 years since I went to OU as well. So Ohio University is not the Ohio State. I actually just spoke to somebody who is at Ohio State, so it's really funny. Yes, so OU is known for its journalism program, and I too also graduated from there, from the visual side of it, but it was very exciting because when you reached out initially, it was about is it called like a thesis or is it like your senior project, I guess?
It's called a thesis
It is
for.
called a thesis? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you are looking at how the one-child policy, how it affects Asian Americans. So it's like, wow. And you said, I'm at Ohio University. I was like, wait, like the OU, like the green one? That was
Yeah.
mine.
But yeah, I it was such a coincidence when you reached out to and like said that you went to OU too, because that's like such a weird coincidence because Ohio University is like, for those that don't know, in Athens, Ohio, which is like southern Appalachia, like kind of in the middle of nowhere. So, to like have another
Yeah,
Asian adoptee that went here is really crazy.
exactly. Oh my gosh, I know. So it's like, so this whole podcast is about like OU. I apologize, but I also don't apologize because I was actually really excited when I read your message. I was like, wait, I think that same reaction. I was like, there's another adoptee at OU. Like, how have I not met any other I also was like, there's got to be other adoptees at OU. We just don't haven't met them yet.
Yeah.
But it's very exciting because it's like, OU, oh yeah. And then I went back and looked at all my pictures from my like first year there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so young. Um, and not aware of my adoption while I was at OU, I will say. So, like, I'm so glad you were doing a project about it. But well, we should start before you got to OU because that is a part of it. But like, you grew up in Columbus?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay. So your journey to finding OU probably is a lot more understanding or people get it. Whereas like I came from Maryland. So it's like, what are you doing? I was like, eh. But yes. So more about your adoption. Could you share a little bit more about that? Like, are you the only adoptee in your family? Do you know why your parents were like, we're gonna adopt this kid from China?
Mhm. Yeah, so I was adopted in 2004 from Hunan, and I'm specifically from Yonling, and my parents, like my adoptive parents, who I just refer to obviously as my parents, had a biological son, um who is 6 years older than I am. So I'm 21, so he's 27.
Hmm.
And basically they were like thinking of like having another child, but they had like friends who had like recently adopted from China, like a ton of friends. So they were like, we would like to give a baby that is already born and that needs a home.
Right.
So my parents decided to adopt from China.
Mm. Okay, so you have an older sibling who is a biological son, 6 years older. Okay. Yeah. My older brothers are 4 and 8 years older, so I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I know about Columbus is basically you have the arena, sports arena, and
Uh-huh.
then what's it called? Easton Mall.
Yes.
That's a thing, right? That's
Yes.
all I know about Columbus. And it's also a little bit more central, is what people say. So I was like, I don't know if it's very central, but I know it's like an hour and a half outside of Athens, right? So it's like not too far.
Yeah, so Columbus is like right smack dab in the middle of Ohio. I'm from Bexley, Ohio, which is like 10 minutes out, like 10 minutes east of like downtown Columbus. So it's basically Columbus.
Oh, okay. It's downtown.
And it's like an hour 15 from Athens, so like very close.
Yeah.
And yeah, my parents had lived in Bexley when they adopted me and I was brought back there and then grew up there for a little bit. Then we moved to Texas for like a year or two and then
Oh,
back to Bexley when I was maybe like 5 or 6 and then like have lived there ever since.
so you've pretty much have most of your life been in like the middle of the US. Midwest, I guess. Is Texas
Yeah.
Midwest?
Texas is like in the South, but
South, yeah.
like living in Ohio basically my whole life. Yeah, just been in the middle.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Wow. Did you live on campus throughout your 4 years there? Are you on campus now?
Yeah, so for my freshman year, because I'm in the honors tutorial college, which is basically what has caused me to like do this thesis.
Yeah.
It basically takes the centuries old Oxford like tutorial system, which
Yeah.
began in Oxford and Cambridge, in the UK, and now it's like at OU, in like this college, and it's only my cohort for my year is only about 8 journalism students, but it's still like in a way I'm a part of the Scripps College that you're a part of as well.
Yeah.
Um, but I lived in honors housing freshman year in Washington on East Green. And
Yep.
then my sophomore year, we opened up River Park Apartments, which was off-campus housing, but OU acquired it. So I like worked there and I like lived in an apartment second year. And then I studied abroad the spring of sophomore years in Hong Kong. And then
Ooh.
junior and senior year, I've lived off campus, but like on Court Street, basically. So it's like
Oh
off,
my gosh, you live on off of Court Street?
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So Court Street is, I feel like, just such a busy, it's like the main street of the town. So, like if you're living above any of the bars or like the restaurants and stuff, like they are open late. I
Mhm.
think they should still be open late, right? Like OU is known
Yeah.
for,
And like everything like closes at 2 a.m. So it's loud until like 2 a.m. and then maybe at like 2:15 it gets silent.
yeah, no, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. No. Oh yes, and honors. Okay, so I think to definitely add to it, honors tutorial college is not easy. Like that is a difficult program at the university. Scripps itself is already considered like a challenging
Mhm.
program to get into, but then you add eight I think that do you guys just call it HTC? Or is it still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, do you say honors tutorial? No. Or
Mhm.
people would say what, tutorial college or something, but
Yeah.
I always heard it as HTC.
Yeah.
Um, but definitely reminiscing. And then, yeah, the place you're talking, the apartments that you're talking about, I'm like, I don't even know where those are. Like, is that near campus, but it's like
Yeah.
south?
It's basically like if you're on East Green and then you're like heading towards like South Green, it's like right over there. Um,
Oh, okay.
like
Those,
tall brick apartments.
yes. Okay. Wow, this is like so wild because again, we're essentially we've gone to the same university, but you're about to graduate, and I was there like 10 years ago. So like things were being constructed. I know the oh my gosh. The Scripps school actually itself was like just kind of starting to open when I left. And
Hmm.
like not everything had been moved to that one building. I had done all my classes for Viscom in visual communications in the Siegfried Hall, which I think was mostly fine arts. I don't know if like anybody goes there anymore. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, Siegfried is now considered to be like Siegfried's considered to be like the music like arts building still. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like Siegfried and that other one. Yeah, the steps down to Siegfried were always kind of precarious.
Yeah.
Wait, where do you live? What place do you live above it on Court Street?
So I live across from Courtside and like North End. So like
Oh, yeah.
um apartments like on so like if you're like walking down Court Street from like towards the very end, like you're coming from Wits, like coming from like College Green, I'm on the
Yeah.
right side. So like by Stevens and like all of that. But I live at the end of Court Street, basically like by the Family Dollar.
Oh, wow. Okay, now it's all come back to me. So you're not like in the heart of it, like above. My
No.
gosh.
I'm like
Yeah.
behind a bar, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because our main street, and then you have the greens and everything. So, wow. Man, that is so nice. Nobody's gonna understand what we're talking about, but this is fun. I was like, this
Yeah.
is fun for me. Now I'm curious too. I will say, like personally, when I was at OU, I didn't really like think about my identity or being Asian American. I did notice it was kind of like a reverse. Like most people around me were white, essentially. Maryland, where I grew up, we actually did grow up with a little bit more diversity in the schools I went to. So it's actually kind of like a reverse culture shock. And I think I sort of more adapted to like being the American and the white side of my identity. And actually, for quite some time after I graduated from OU, I didn't really like talk about it. I didn't associate. I wasn't like, yeah, I went to OU. Like, I never really talked about it. And it's only now, like 10 years later, that I've started to like talk about it a little bit more or even go to like alumni events because in New York we have this whole like Metro NY Bobcats is the name. And there's actually a really big group of like alumni who come to New York from OU, partially because of Scripps. Like you have all those people who graduate from the advertising program and PR, broadcast, and they come to New York. I'm sure a lot of them go to like other places, but New York does have a really big alumni group. So I was like, I'm just starting to explore that a little bit more. Sounds like you have already thought about your identity or recognize it's there.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, so in Bexley and in Columbus, like it's a predominantly white community in school.
Hmm.
And I like everyone in my family is white too. So I grew up like not really having Asian role models or like when you're a kid you just want to like fit in and be like everyone else. Like my parents
Yeah.
tried to like take me to like Asian like Chinese events like
Hmm.
performances or like celebrate Lunar New Year, but like I like didn't really want to because
Hmm.
it you just don't want to like be the odd one out.
Sure.
But I think my biggest connection when I was like younger was that when my parents traveled to China, the group that they traveled with, they happened to be with three other families that were from Columbus.
Oh,
So when they adopted their children, like basically me from the same orphanage, actually, all four of us were in the same area. So we would like meet up for like Lunar
yeah.
New Year stuff and like keep in contact. And we still do. So I think that was like the biggest like influence of like my adoption, but it wasn't until 2017 when I went back to China for the first time since being adopted that I like really started like taking ownership over my identity. Um,
Mm.
and that ever since then, I like definitely think that I've become a bigger advocate for like
Hmm.
being Asian American, being an adoptee, and now it's like a really big part of my life.
Yeah. So you went to China in what year again?
2017.
2017. Oh wow, so it's been some time. That's before you even went to college, right?
Yeah,
Math.
that
Yes.
I was going into my freshman year of high school.
Wow. Okay. And the when you went back, that was the Heritage Tour, or that was just a visit? That was the Heritage Tour. Yeah.
Yeah, so it basically was me and one other, like one of the girls that I was in the orphanage with, that's from Columbus. Me
Mm.
and my parents, my brother, and her parents um went back
Mm-hmm.
China and we started in Beijing and we like just did like touristy stuff there and then we flew down and went to like the southern so Hunan's like in the southern part of China. So we started in the north, went made our way south, and we went to um I'm gonna butcher the name Zhang Jiajie, like the this big forest that like they filmed like the live action Avatar in.
Ooh, okay.
And like we did like we traveled to like a city on the water, like we did like some touristy
Mm.
stuff and then we went to Yonling and went back to our orphanage. And the way that our orphanage worked was that we would have foster parents that would take care of us while we waited for adoption. And I actually got to meet my foster parents
Wow.
and my friend got to meet hers. And like that was a very emotional experience too.
Sure.
So
Um, yeah, I honestly had no idea fostering was a thing either
mhm.
because you were adopted. Were you adopted like at like 12 months or like older than that? I
It
guess
was
older.
considered to be like exactly like 1 year and 1 day.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, so it's like meeting them. They probably remember you, I'm sure, the foster families or parents too.
Yeah, we basically we met at the orphanage and then we like met the director of the orphanage, and the orphanage now is not used as an orphanage, is used as like an elder care home facility.
Okay.
But like we went around, like took pictures in like spots that we had pictures from, and we went back to my foster parents for like they had us over for dinner, and they showed me
Mhm.
that they had the crib that like they used for me when I was like a baby, because I guess I was the first baby that they fostered, and they I think they had like three
Um,
more after me, but they still had like the original crib that they got for me,
um,
and everything. So
wow. So in a way, the trip that you took back, like you guys had planned it, like your families had planned it together, not necessarily you went with like a group, but yeah.
yeah, we originally it was like kind of confusing because we like kind of thought that we were gonna be with the group. That was like what I think we were told, but then no one ended up coming, so it was really personalized
Oh,
to the two of us.
that's
Um,
great.
Yeah, because like my parents like planned some stuff out, but yeah, it was like just the two of our families, so it was very personal.
Hey, I mean, it sounds like you got a private tour for the cost of like not having a private tour.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the same, but it's like when I do like the running tours and like only one person shows up, they pay the same price as if like 10 people show up. So I was like, "Oh, all right, it's a private tour, so you
Yeah.
get to have fun." Oh, okay, so that is a pretty like significant trip in 2017. And then you studied abroad in your second year at Hong Kong, in Hong Kong, in Hong Kong. And what were you doing for study abroad there?
So I went in 2023, so from January to May, and basically I had already finished like all my major requirements. HCC has very little requirements for journalism, and so I could like I have an East Asian Studies certificate, which like a certificate's like a minor,
Yeah.
and a political communication certificate. So I always knew I wanted to study abroad in college. I always knew I wanted to study abroad in Asia, and Hong Kong Baptist University, where I studied abroad, is an affiliate of Ohio University. So my HTC
Ah,
scholarship was going to transfer there. So I was like, perfect. That's where I'm going to
nice.
go. So I decided to like, I originally wanted to study Mandarin because that's what I had been studying already in college and like a little bit in high school, but
Sure.
um it didn't end up working. So I actually like took intro to Cantonese, which is what they speak there.
Wow.
Um
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
and I kind of did like a history class which about like Hong Kong and like its relation to like the world and other countries, and I took an English and gender and language class there, and then I took like a film studies, so
yeah.
like just kind of anything to supplement my East Asian Studies certificate about like
Yeah.
the culture and media and stuff like that.
So you, because the semester, wait, there's actual semesters now at OU. I keep
Mhm.
forgetting that. My first year it was quarter system. So it was like it was only 12 weeks versus I think it's 16. So you did 16 weeks essentially, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually went over. Hong Kong was the HKBU was actually starting earlier than OU, so I went there earlier than when OU started, and I actually end up staying later than when OU would
Ah.
have gone out because I decided to travel a little bit afterwards.
Oh yeah, sure. Where'd you travel to?
I solo traveled to Taiwan and South Korea and Singapore,
Ooh.
and then I went to Thailand and Macau with some people I met during study abroad.
Okay, so you got a good portion of Asia
Mhm.
visited too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great, man. So that's a trip that I think like everybody would love to do at some point. But yeah, Thailand, Macau, Singapore, I'm sure was like really clean.
Yes,
I guess
it
it's like
was.
Japan too. And then like South Korea. What? That's I didn't I went to Hong Kong but not for study abroad, but I did go between junior and senior year
Mhm.
for like 4 days. It was a very quick trip, but it was really cool. It's like, we have so much in common, Mimi. We went to the same school and we both went to Hong Kong.
It's crazy. The connection is crazy.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's like there's way more in common too. I guess I did do kind of like the trip to back to like Beijing and everything, but that was that in 2019? That was in 2019, so not long after you. I was much older, like more with it in a way with my adoption. But it is so interesting because you said it was 2023 that you studied abroad, and it's like that's like post when pandemic, so it's just kind of like wild to think like, oh, that's not too far after that. But
No. And Hong Kong actually was still like I think it had been like a good like year and a half since the US was like fully masking and everything, but I went over to Hong Kong and I had to like have negative tests and
oh yes,
I had
yes,
to mask and they were still doing like only 10 groups of people. Like it was
hmm
really crazy to like kind of go back in
yeah,
of the pandemic when I went over there and I literally remember that like maybe like the third like March 3rd, 2023 is when like they finally lifted like mask requirements
mm,
and stuff like
yeah,
that. But I hadn't worn a mask um in the US in like a year.
yeah, yeah, because it's like wait. Uh, yeah, I guess there's an advantage of them having still the small groups though, because you still get like a more personalized experience in that way too. So sounds like
Yeah.
all of your experiences in Asia have been personalized. It's quite nice. Easy. And I also have an older brother, well, I have two. So it's like, whoa, the connections. Um, and I've been to Columbus. I went to Easton Mall. That's the
Yeah.
first time you saw like the American Girl doll little chairs.
Yes. Literally, I when I was younger, we went to the American Girl doll store in like Chicago and I was like, "Oh my gosh." And then it came to Easton and I was like, "I don't have to drive all the way to Chicago anymore for this. This is great."
Oh. That's right. Yeah, that was relatively new, I guess, when I was in Ohio too.
Mhm.
I also remember doing the drive from OU to Columbus too. It was like a pretty straight, it's like basically that one highway straight.
One highway. Yeah, right into it.
Yeah, it was like two lanes. Like that's fine, I guess. The memories. Yeah, I used to, oh my gosh, what are these sites called? I can't think of the mountain that people always climb. It's not called Summit. That's one of the apartments. Not Radar Hill. Oh, see, it's been so long that I can't even remember, but it was like, oh yeah, you've been to the blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah. It was like there's like a beach or something. There's that.
Those Strouds, yeah.
Stroud's, thank you. I was like, yeah, did you go to Stroud's? And then I thought there was like some other mountain that you hike near there that people always like would get high. And I can't remember the
Oh,
name of it.
literally Bong Hill.
Yes.
Bong
That's
Hill, Radar Hill. Yeah.
Radar Hill. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I feel like OU even when I was leaving there, or actually I think after my first year is when they started to like have more control over Halloween. Because Halloween's so big there, right?
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
well, my freshman year, we were in 2021, it was still kind of pandemic-y, and so they like did not have the block party, like had to have wristbands in the dorms, like pretty
Whoa.
strict, but
Yes.
it's gotten bigger over like the block party's back now. It has been for like the past like 3 years. So
Ooh.
I think freshman year was the only time that it was like
Yeah.
kind of iffy, but it's getting back to where it was.
Okay. And it's probably, I almost think it probably came back even bigger after the pandemic too. But even like before our time, because I had met other Bobcats who were graduated before us, they were saying like, yeah, it used to be real wild. But I do remember like the wristbands and stuff for your dorm and whatnot. I think I still have it actually. That might be the one of the few mementos I kept from my time at OU was my wristband and my diploma. It's like you graduated from this place. But yes, yeah, Bong Hill, Radar Hill. That's what it was. And then the haunted part,
The
uh
Ridges.
the ridges. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. It's all coming back. It's so much fun. The ridges. I know people who like were able to break in there to some places you weren't supposed to go, and I was like, I was way too scared. Like it's Athens is spooky. It's like creepy.
It's considered to be one of the most haunted places in the
Yeah.
US.
Oh yeah. It was that and also like one of the biggest party schools too,
Yeah.
which I had no idea because I actually don't drink either. But when I ended up applying there and stuff, my mom and dad had no concern about me like having too much fun. So
Mhm.
like you don't even I was like, yeah, I guess it's true. So it's like I didn't really explore or like party too much when I was there. Especially part of it was like not drinking either. But I definitely enjoyed the nature. That's the main reason I went there. I was like, this is a really pretty campus. Except when you like sprain your ankle or something, it's not a pretty campus anymore. Have you done that?
No, but I've like
Okay.
thought about it so many times because again, for those that don't know, in OU being in Southern Appalachia, it's very hilly. It's very old. It's actually the oldest university in Ohio. It's the oldest in the Northwest Territory because it's 1804 is when it was
Yeah.
founded. And like everything is made of brick and it's just very old. So
Yeah.
if you like break your leg or sprain your foot or something, it's unfortunately very inaccessible. Lots of the dorms don't have elevators. A lot of buildings don't have ramps. So it's just that's like a downside to it. Oh my gosh.
It's from like an alumni event that I just went to. The person was like, "Hey, take this. It's like a koozie."
That is so cool.
So I think it actually snaps like a snap band.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it says from 1804 to now and forever because it's alumni.
Mhm.
So I was like,
Forever
that's
Ohio. That's the slogan.
yeah, I know. I was also like, I almost was tempted to be like, oh, you, Mimi. You're gonna be like, oh
Oh
God.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's a throwback. All of it. I used to work the football games too, so I was like, oh my gosh. And the
Ooh.
marching 110 is a big thing
Yes.
at our university. I guess now that I'm like, I appreciate my time at OU, even though I didn't associate with it for like 4 years after. Because I was just ready to be done by the time I left, personally. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, it's fun. And then people were there obviously for graduate studies, so they have a different experience and perspective, like undergrad, where I think it's like a lot of coming of age. And it's like, yeah.
Yes, I work at the libraries in the dean's office doing like marketing communications, and we have like our graphic designer and our photographer are like grad positions, and it's really funny to work with them because they're all usually like my brother's age, so like 26, 27,
Yeah, like right
like
around my age.
yeah, like coming back, like take they went to undergrad, took a break, and now they're back in grad school. And they're just like their experience of Athens is so different because
hmm
I think after 4 years, a lot of undergrads are like ready to take a break and do something new, but
Yeah,
like grad students are like, oh, these 2 years are like enough.
yeah.
And they're enjoying it a lot. So it's definitely a different experience for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Good old 1804, Harvard on the Hawking.
Yeah.
Hey, right? Harvard, yeah, Harvard on the Hawking.
Mhm.
Make sure you take a brick when you leave.
It's on my senior year bucket list. I wrote
Okay.
25 things to do because I'm graduating in 2025 and taking a break from the ridges is one of them.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Because you were graduating 20. How very fitting to do 25 things. What is else on? This is great. We're just gonna keep talking about OU. What else is on this list of 25 things to do?
The shot shuffle that everyone does. So
Oh
for
my
again,
gosh.
like OU, because OU had like used to have, it's not as much anymore, like the party school reputation. It's because there's like over like 15 bars like on Court Street, like on the
100%.
main street. So everyone, when you're senior, does a shot shuffle with your friends. You go to all 15 bars and like get a shot there. So
Hmm
that's just the rite of passage that I've decided to put upon myself.
Heard
Um,
about this, but no, I was like, nope, I'm good.
and I think what else did I want to do? I want to like, oh, I want to climb Bong Hill and Radar Hill.
Okay.
I wanted to like sleep outside at the ridges. Um, just like crazy
Nope.
stuff.
Oh, you're on your own for that one? Nope. I would never. I was too scared. I'd be too scared to do that now, even. Because it used to
Yeah.
be an insane asylum, right? Like it was actually, or
Mhm.
insane asylum, but yeah, that's not PC to say now. But in the sense, like you did have people there who had a lot of like mental,
That was the official, yeah, that was the official name, and that's
yeah.
the Athens Insane Asylum, yeah, is like
Was it? Yeah.
what it was called and like what it's known for. Now it's the Ridges, but now it actually houses like the police department and um
What?
some of the buildings are restored and some of them are kept as is, but it
Oh, okay.
up there at the Ridges it now like hosts like some of the universities like marketing communications offices. It hosts the police department and the Kennedy Art Museum. So
Oh, yes. Still wouldn't want to go up there. And then,
yeah, fair enough.
because Dairy Barn Arts Center is not too far from there too, I think.
Yeah, it's right there. That's
Okay.
awesome.
All right, so I guess it's not all spooky, but it is still pretty. I still associate it as like this is a scary. I remember being told like haunted stories. I think I did like a haunted tour my freshman year there, and I
Mm.
think that's what dissuaded me from going near Ridges for a while because it was real spooky. I was like, I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah, I think like I've had people talk about their experiences there and it's spooky or stuff in the dorm halls and
Yes.
this.
hmm Yeah, yeah. I stayed in James. Was it James Hall on
Yeah.
West Green?
Hmm.
I don't think it was as old as some of the halls that are on like South Green.
Yeah.
But a lot of those I think have either been renovated or there's new halls because I think they built new ones when I was also on my way out.
Yes, there's back south, which are like the original ones, which are like high up because in case the Hawking flooded, and those are getting
Mm,
down within the next like couple of years. But they did build like they call it New South, which is like by like paying like the
that's really
rec
funny.
center, and it's like
Yeah.
really new dorms.
You can tell me this. What the pools, the aquatic center, is it still the aquatic center? Like, is there
Yes.
still a pool there? Oh, okay. I was wondering if they were gonna like upgrade the pool or something by the time. No, it's still. Oh, that's a shame.
I know.
I was like, yeah, that aquatic center was, I mean, it did what it needed to do, but they put a lot of money into like Ping and Peden Stadium because I guess the team is good now, is what I've heard. Like the OU team, they were in the championship or something now. I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't.
we're in the MAC championships. I'm actually going tomorrow.
Oh, you
Um,
are?
yeah, we're against Miami, so like the big rivalry.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Miami of Ohio, by the way.
Yes. Not
Miami.
University of Miami, not the
Yeah.
cool one.
Yeah, I remember that rivalry to Miami of Ohio. I think I actually visited that campus too for some sort of sales thing once. And I was like, oh, this is definitely similar. I can see why there's like some people are like, oh, Miami of Ohio and OU.
Mhm.
But yeah. Was it fun coming back to OU after you were in Hong Kong? I mean, you traveled everywhere too, but like coming back and doing your studies, you're like,
I th my study abroad was hard. I had a lot of fun and I wouldn't trade anything for it, but it was hard and I think it taught me a lot about like my identity as
mm,
an Asian American because I whenever I'm here in the US and like in Athens, which is like a predominantly white institute, like I am always trying to be like Asian American and
hmm
like trying to like educate people about this part of my identity and like what it means for the Asian community, what it's like to be a minority. But then when I was in Hong Kong, I felt way more connected to being an American. Like, oh, I miss this
sure.
about the US. Like, I miss this about like Ohio. And I think it helped me embrace like this really niche subset of like American culture and like being
Sure.
adoptee. I like it very much enjoyed like everyone like having people look like me in Hong Kong. Um,
hmm
like having that familiarity. I think it made things easier like traveling to like be Asian, even though like I didn't speak the language.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I did grapple with that a little too, like um feeling like a little insecure and inadequate that I didn't know the language, even though I'm not even like Hong Konger, like so I shouldn't I would
hmm
know the language, but I think it taught me a lot about my identity. But by the time I was finished like doing like 5, 6 months there, I was ready to come back to my friends and
Yeah.
doing all of like typical college stuff.
Yeah. Because it's a community you really build too, especially if you stay friends with like your cohort. I'm assuming it's like a lot of people in your cohort. You guys would stay close. Like the HGC program, like you guys are close because like
Yeah.
you're doing that rigorous programming and everything that you like are required to do. And
Yes.
then yeah. You do journalism. Is it like broadcast journalism or is it like written journalism? I don't know what exactly that's called, but
I
you know.
special I'm on the news and information track and I specialize in
Oh,
magazine journalism, so written editorial format.
oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, because if you really get into the finite details of like scripts, there's just so many subsets that I was like, I couldn't keep up. It's like you knew the main thing. You would ask people what school you. It's like you're in scripts, like oh, what part? It's like well, there's physcom and then there's broadcast and then there's editorial. But within editorial, you had like other. So it's
Yes.
still the same program. It sounds like just.
Yes, just but different specializations.
hmm Did you ever think of going to a different university, or was like Scripps' reputation preceded itself, and it's like, yeah, let's go here.
No, I did not want to go here. I like
I love it.
so my thing in high school was in like senior year. What so my cousin on my mom's side went to Kenyon College in Gambier, Ohio, which is like a very small private liberal arts
Yeah.
college. And I so when she graduated there, she's my brother's age, so she graduated in 2019. Um,
hmm
she graduated there. I went to the campus and I was like, oh, I love this. Like very like academic focused, like very quaint, like everyone's very liberal. Like I really enjoyed that. So when I was applying to college, I applied to 9 schools and two of them were public, which was Ohio State University and then
Ah, yeah,
OU.
yeah.
And I only applied to Ohio State because I felt like I should as an Ohioan,
And
um,
especially a Columbus person, yeah.
as a Columbus person. But all and then 7 private schools and 5 were in Ohio and 4 were out of state. And I originally wanted to go out of state, but financially I was like, I would just prefer to go to like an in-state school and like a private liberal arts. So Kenyon was my top choice. When I applied to OU, I originally wanted to be photojournalism, but like on the common application, like applying for college, all I saw was journalism and then parentheses it said honors. And so I thought, oh, like photojournalism is probably just under journalism. The honors, I don't, this is the only option. I'll just apply. And then I got my acceptance in like November, December. And it was like, congratulations, you've been accepted for scripts, journalism, news and information. So I applied for the wrong thing and I got into the regular journalism program. And then I got a notice that my application was going to be passed on to the honors tutorial college, which I didn't remember applying to. But
hmm
I had my interview. I learned that HTC provides full state intuition, like
Nice.
state tuition. And so when I got my acceptance, my parents were like, "Oh, so you're going."
Yeah. They're
So
like,
when I got into OU, they were like, "Oh, you're like, okay, you should go." And then when I got into HTC, they were like, "So you're going 100%." And
yeah,
I was just like, okay, I guess like this is a good program. And I think that HTC is like a private liberal arts in and of itself because it's only
yeah,
about they only accept about 100 incoming students across all majors each year.
for sure.
It's very small and the tutorials are one-on-ones with professors, so it's very in depth. And then so I get the benefit of like a liberal arts education at like a public school with like
Yeah,
a big network. So in the end, it like worked out the way it should have, but I definitely didn't picture myself going here.
that's really funny. It's like, so I didn't want to go here. That might be the line quote I'll use. It's like, yeah, so I didn't want to go here, even
Yeah.
though that's all we're talking about. I was like, that's so funny because I was the opposite. I was like, oh my gosh, I struggled to even like get into the OU campus itself, but I got into VisCom before I got into the school. It
Oh.
was very odd. It's like I got through the VisCom, like I did the portfolio review and all that stuff, and like I got accepted there, but they're like, you still have to get accepted to the university itself. And I didn't understand this, but my SAT scores were nothing to write home about. I had like wrote an essay or something. I don't even know what the essay was about. I don't even know if I mentioned adoption that detailed. I was like, all right, okay. So I finally got accepted to like the university. And for me, I was like very fortunate. My dad was like, you have an option. It's like you can go to OU and you don't have to worry about tuition, or you can go to like this other university in Pennsylvania, like Philly, but you'd have to take out student loans. I was like, yeah, I'm not taking those student loans out. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got accepted there, but I was like, student loans, nah, it's okay.
Yeah. All the other universities that I like had a couple that had good stuff, but nothing nowhere near like paying like for a full
Yeah.
ride. And I was fortunate enough that because of COVID, like all the universities I applied to became test optional because my ACT score was not very good. I like took it once and I was like gonna like try and take it again, but then COVID hit. And so like everywhere was like, we're just not gonna have tests. And I was like, perfect.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Forgot about
but
that. Yeah.
my Common App essay was about going back to China and I did a
Um,
research there. And I basically like focused in on the moment where like I put up a finding poster where it said that the police report said I was found, and
Mm-hmm.
like um our tour guide like was with us, and this woman from inside the market kind of like was talking to her and like brought her into the market because I was found outside of like a wet market basically. And
Sure.
all these people like started taking a look at this poster, and like Yonling is kind of like, it's not like 100% countryside. I would compare it to like kind of like Columbus, but like not as big. Like it's very
Mm-hmm.
city still, but like these people like never really have seen like white people and like
Mm.
blonde white people. So
Sure.
like they were all like trying to like talk to me, and I didn't know anything, and so I like talked about that in my common app about like I went to China to do like a heritage and like birth parent search
Yeah.
because I thought that this would like um fix isn't the right word. I thought I was going to like answer a lot of questions that I had about
Sure.
who I was and everything, and I never ended up like finding my birth parents, but like in that experience itself like completed the part that I thought that like finding my birth parents would.
Yeah, like it definitely helped at that time with something that you needed, it sounds like.
Hmm.
Do you think you would go back again later on? Like, well, in the future, not later on, but in the future, do you think you'd go back again and try to do birth parent search or just to visit?
I think so. I wanted to. I thought about if I would go back to like mainland China like during my study abroad, but I wanted to go to like countries I hadn't been to, so that's the reason I
Sure.
didn't go. But I would go back for sure. I would like to go to Shanghai, um,
Mm,
and like go back to Beijing and like some other places because I think that I appreciated it in 2017, but like that was like the first round of like getting me to like appreciate my identity. Now that I really do, I think I would appreciate it even more. I think in terms of birth parent search, like I really care about it, and like I really would want to find them, but I think as I've gotten older, I like my priorities have shifted a little bit, like trying to be an adult and like
yeah.
finish my studies and like get a job and do things like that. So I think it's been placed on the back burner. It like ever since 2017, like we've my mom and I have like been trying to keep up with it. Um, but when I was like in high school, basically I would like pick it up every summer, like when I didn't have
Mm,
school going on, and that would be like the time that we'd like try and get in contact because we like put ads like in news stations
oh,
in
yeah.
China. We did newspapers, like we did a lot. My DNA was left at the police station
Okay.
in Yunling, but I think as life got like progressed and like I got busier, it just wasn't as big of
Mm,
a thing for me anymore. And I think I've come to terms also with like um the realistic aspect of like finding birth parents and how
mm.
complicated it is and all of that. So I would love to. It's just not as important as it used to be.
I mean, it sounds like you've done a couple, I feel like, of the hardest parts about like birth parent search, just from my take too, because
Mhm.
I'm also speaking from my own experience, but like to give your blood to like the local police station, but also to put a finding poster. I don't know. To me, it just seems like that's a really big step for anybody who's trying to do a birth parent search is when you put like the poster up because
Yeah.
you're putting, of course, all your information out there and like details and then like really opening yourself up for people to contact you who may not be like have the best intents or maybe they do, but it's just kind of like that really opens up a lot. So it's like I always like give credit to people who were like, or to adoptees who are like, I'm gonna go ahead and just put this poster up and it has all my information and opening up that communication line for like anybody to potentially contact. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, it's
I
scary. I was like, that's a
that
little
yeah,
scary.
that's exactly it. Like we I knew we wanted to do that before we left, so we made a poster with like my current school picture at the time and like a picture when I was a baby, and
Mm-hmm.
like my translator and guide like put it into like Chinese characters, and we like went around and did it. And that's part of the reason why she went inside the wet market in the first place, is because someone thought she might know, and then we like went to someone's house. Like it was a very like
Mm-hmm.
confusing time, but at the same vein, like it was very interesting. And I was like 14 at the time. So
Yeah,
now looking back like 7 years later, I'm like, that was a lot for like a 14-year-old to
that
like do.
does seem like a lot.
And I'm very proud of myself for doing it and like I never
Sure.
regret anything about it. I think it's just um kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that is a lot. I think 14 is like such a pivotal age too. Like you're going into like your teenage years, but you're coming out of like the younger innocence, I guess is the way to put it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was like, wow. But then you went back to Hong Kong, studied abroad, and went to all these other Asian countries and had fun. So,
Yeah, and it was like it was like another full circle kind of thing because I always wanted to go and like live in Asia a little bit longer. I did,
hmm
and then I realized I was like, I don't think I could live here.
Yeah, you
Like,
got to have that experience, so you at least know, like, okay, never mind. This was
yeah, because
fun, but just as
I
a
think
visitor.
I think a lot of adoptees like think about like, oh, what would my life be like if I like lived in Asia and like
Sure.
wasn't adopted, like outside of it,
Oh
and
yeah.
like I did it, and I was like, oh, I actually don't think I like this. I like visiting, and it's a lot of fun, but I think after 6 months, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go back to the US. I think
Oh, I'm sure.
the US has a lot of flaws, but so does Asia.
Oh,
So
I mean, where in the world doesn't really have flaws? There's probably a very
yeah.
small number of places, but then how do you actually live there is another question. But then, you go back to OU where I'm curious though, because I'm not sure if you had this ex so my perspective too, and this is also like what I noticed when I was at OU was like there's like a pretty big division between like international students as well as like the African American or like Black community, because they have like Black alumni or not just alumni, sheesh, but like Black sororities and fraternities that are separate from like the other ones on campus. Um, and I don't even know if they had their own houses or anything, but I knew like some of the sororities have houses that are on Court Street and surrounding areas. But it was like the black sorority or fraternity, like was you didn't you would I only knew about them because I worked at Memod,
Uh
and they would have like events and stuff. And I was like, wait, this is a thing where there's like only black sororities. And again, I was like, I don't know if you can say something like that now, but and then the international students too, if I did see them, they were usually like really stayed together. Um, and I don't know if that's just the case everywhere, because I kind of see that too, even today, like in New York City and some of the universities and the art classes that I model at. Like I'll see some students that you can tell they're like from China. They like stick together. So I was like, is that just a thing, or am I like misreading this?
yeah. I I think diversity at OU has gotten a little bit better. I think it's come a long
Yay.
way. It's still not perfect, obviously, but um like actually my freshman year was the first year that the Asian American Pacific Islander Student Union was founded. Like there was no Asian org, I guess, on campus that.
No.
So I joined that my freshman year. Sophomore year, I became the director of communications and like worked on marketing, and I did junior year. And this year, like I just decided to be a general body member and like step
Yeah,
back.
step back.
Um,
It's your senior year.
yeah. But like there's now like the South Asian Student Org, like the Japan like
Mm,
that half Asian Persons Association. Like there's a lot more going on. We have the Multicultural Expo every year,
that's
which
great.
does focus on um like black sororities and like black orgs, but now it's a lot more diverse because we have a Puerto Rican student association and um like for there's an association for like queer people of color, like it's very there's a
Okay.
lot more orgs now, and I think things are a little bit more integrated, but I do think that like it's kind of
Mm,
like if you know about it you know about it, and if you don't you're probably
sure.
white and like like a majority of the the campus and like don't care about it.
hmm
But I think in terms of international students, like a lot of the international students I see are not really in undergrad. They're mainly grad students and they stick
Ah,
together. Especially OU has a large majority of international students from Africa, but not really from other countries,
Oh.
um, and like other continents. Like, uh, maybe I know a couple that of grad students from China, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but they're mainly from Africa. A couple of my friends in undergrad are international students from India. Um,
Mm.
and then I did have an exchange student that I met in Hong Kong. I heard from a friend that I had met there, a Japanese student, that she was like, "Oh, my friend that I made here from in Hong Kong, she's going to your university." I said, "She's going to Ohio University?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "Yeah, I'll give you her contact info." And so we ended up getting like lunch before I left Hong
Mm.
Kong, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm coming to your university in the fall." And so when she came over, I like picked her up from the airport because I live super close, Bexley's super close to the
To Columbus Airport, by the way.
airport.
There's no airport in Athens.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Not that you can fly out of.
Yeah,
If for aviation studies, yes, but
sure.
yeah, for in Columbus, I like picked her up and helped her
Mm.
get settled, and like we became really good friends. But
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
international students definitely I think tend to stick together.
Mm-hmm.
As grad students. In undergrad, I think that's less of the case because we don't have a ton. We do have like Chubu University in Japan is
Mm.
another affiliate university that we have, and we always have a group of maybe like 20 students come every year, and they're very like
Mm.
integrated together because it's like
Sure.
their program that they're doing the semester for
Yeah.
the semester together. But besides that, I think things are better and have
Yeah. I mean, yeah, my tent was like, wait, there's like an Asian group? What? That's a thing? Like, I had no idea. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was Asian groups when I was there. If there were, I didn't know about them or like they hadn't been created yet, sort of. Because I was like involved with like OU Ad Association. I'm pretty sure they're still around. They gotta be. Like that group is, yeah. I didn't do all the photo things. Like I didn't do Spy or the fashion magazine Threads. Thread up. Oh, I
read,
can't
yeah.
remember. Okay, yeah. So these are like the publications that are staples. But I was like, I never really did. I was definitely not a fashion photographer. Still not a fashion photographer today. The person I was speaking to, I was talking to Arena. She goes to OSU. Ohio State, and she said there's like a group for adoptees, like it's an adoptee club. And I was like, what? I think it's actually, she said it was like a transracial adoptee club, but all adoptees are welcome. And I was like, dang, I mean, it's Ohio State, right? Like, so that it's a bigger group of population that you're gonna have.
Way more diverse.
Way more diverse and probably more adoptees. Like, I mean, I don't think I met another adoptee at OU while I was there for sure. If I did, like, never came
Most
up.
most of the Asian students at OU now are adoptees. I think most of the people, it's more common to find, and specifically from China, if you go to OU right now and you're Asian, and like specifically if you're Chinese, you're probably a Chinese adoptee.
Say what? Where are all these adoptees at from OU? Call
I
me.
like my freshman year when the Asian org was being founded, it was a senior, her name is Alexis Carolyn. She um was a Chinese adoptee, and she kind of came like a mentor to me in a way, and she ended up doing a Fulbright in Taiwan, and she studied abroad during her time in Wales, and so she met someone from Hong Kong in Wales, and then she put me in contact with him when I went to Hong Kong because he was went to my university, and like it's just all connected
Yeah, it's all connected.
but
Wow.
yeah, there's a lot more Asian adoptees on campus now.
Oh, so I should be going to OU, but no, just kidding. I'm not going back. It's like, so I should obviously be at OU 10 years to my junior, but I think it does reflect a lot of the change of like as time is going and especially as I think a lot of us Chinese adoptees, like I'm 31, so it's like I mean, this whole podcast and everything came out of the pandemic, but that's what, like, still 6 years after I like graduated. So it's just like, where is all the like resources to be like, hey, are you adopted here? Like, I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
My goodness, that's so crazy. That's really cool though, that yeah. because I'm just trying to think. I was like, I don't, again, my memory's not the best either. So I was just like, I don't remember meeting a lot of like Asian Americans, but I do feel like I notice it more, especially like in New York, like going to all the different universities. Like, I'm pretty sure that Chinese girl over there is also adopted. She's not hanging out with the international Chinese students and just kind of seems to give off the I'm adopted vibe, but I'm not going up to her. I'm also the model usually, so I'm not like going up to these students either and be like, hey, you adopted.
Hmm.
Tell me all about it right now. So
Yes, you can tell. I've said that to people before, like my friends that are like Wasian or that they're not adopted, but I'm like, that's an adoptee. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I can just tell.
you can just
Like,
tell
I can just tell.
the vibe.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have an adoptee tattoo too. So like sometimes like they're also like, oh, I'm guaranteeing it. Like some of the students when they're drawing who are adopted, they're like, oh, she's adopted. I can tell.
Well, so I have a tattoo. It's so classic. Everyone like thinks it's so funny, but I have this made in I don't think you can really see it. It's
Oh,
this
you
made in
actually got
China.
that. Made in
Yeah.
China. Oh
This made in
shit.
China tattoo. I got it when I was in Hong Kong. Um, and so when people see that, they're like, "Oh my gosh, are you actually made in China?" I was like, "I was actually."
That's really funny. You actually have that tattoo. That was always a joke as a kid growing up, like taking the sticker from the stuff, like the little
Anything.
Oriental trading stuff and like putting it on. Like, here we go, I'm made in China.
Yeah.
Um, but you actually have it tattooed. Nice.
Yeah. I
I,
was
I,
waiting forever for that.
I was like, yeah. I mean, there's like a darkness to that, but also like true. So it's like, gotta
Yes.
appreciate it. That was really cool. Yeah, no, I was like, I don't think I could ever. There's some tattoos that's like that would be really funny and ironic, but I'd be so nervous about having permanently, it's permanently on there forever.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Wow, this is a lot of fun. We definitely went a little bit over. I hope that's okay.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it also seamlessly went into all the things I usually talk about too. But it was like, what? That's so cool. That I just is still like, what? Because I when I saw your message, because it was very, I mean, it was like very like professionally written, of course, but it's like, could you share my study? Which I hopefully you have found people to help with your study and your thesis.
Mhm.
That's how our introduction happened. And then when you're like, yeah, I had this Ohio University, I was like, say what? It doesn't convey in messages, but when I responded, I was like, holy shit, you went to OU? Tell me more. Oh my
Yeah.
God, we gotta talk more.
Yes, when you messaged that, I was like, this is crazy. Like the connection and the fate of it all is
Hmm.
wild.
But if you come to New York too, I'll definitely be like, so you should meet the Metro NY Bobcats. Now, most of them, there is some diversity in there. I have noticed it. Still not the most, but like I think I was telling you, I went to the MoMA. They had like an event at the MoMA. Okay, I wasn't the only Asian person. There was like two others, and they were different, like we were all different ages.
Mhm.
I think one of them was like, I did my graduate studies there, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't help it, but I still like try to look for like the other minorities when I go to some events. We still are very much that case with OU but as you're saying, it's growing, it's changing and whatnot. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
But let me ask before we wrap up, anything else you'd like to hear from like other adoptees or anything else you'd like to share? Hear from other alumni other than me, because I'm one perspective.
I think that I mean I'm everyone's adoption story and process of like coping with their identity is different and like that's why I'm like focusing on what I am with my thesis. Like I want to hear people's stories. So I mean
Hmm.
like anything that anyone is comfortable sharing, I love to hear about.
Yeah.
Like for like any alumni, OU or not, I'm looking for a job and
There you
I
go.
am a wonderful writer and journalist. So if any, and I also do social media and marketing. So if anyone had jobs or advice, I would listen to anything about that.
There you go. Yeah, no, I'm not that person that you can talk to about that specifically. There's other people definitely out there. And then it
Mhm.
also, I don't sure where you want to go either. So I guess that's another part. Like, do you want to go back? Do you want to stay in Columbus for a little bit or do you want to move? You're like, I want to get out of this area,
I
please.
would love to get out of Columbus in Ohio. I think my favorite city is Chicago, but
Mm,
um like New York, obviously, and I like San Francisco and Seattle, so
like a big city on either coast, it's like anywhere, it seems.
yeah,
Oh,
basically.
then you open yourself up for a lot more like opportunities everywhere. If you're like,
Yeah.
yeah. I hear Chicago's really nice. That's like a good place to go to. It's just as cold as where you are, so it's not really that different.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, I can see that, like getting out of Columbus too. I know there's a lot of people who go to like OU and they go to Columbus just because that's closer or they're like easier to get a job there. I mean, it depends. I did like a sales certificate, and a lot of people went to Columbus because a lot of the what is it like headquarters for I think like Whirlpool or something is in Columbus or something near Columbus or something like that
Yeah.
or Cleveland. It was one of those. I'm gonna check in with you about your bucket list. If you survive the bar crawl, um,
Yeah.
Tony's Hot Nuts, I think, is something that is
Yes.
available now at the OU bar in New York. So if you ever come to New York, there is an OU bar. It's called the Whalen. I have not been to it still yet, again, because I don't really drink. But they're showing the game tomorrow as well. Is the game at OU or is it at Miami of Ohio?
It's actually in Detroit,
It's in
Michigan,
Detroit.
at the Lions Stadium.
Oh, right, because it's a MAC championship, not like some local nonsense. Yeah, my knowledge of football is still very minimal. It's a bar called the Whalen. So if anybody's listening and they want to check out the OU bar in New York City, it's on like 10th Avenue and 50th Street. The person who helps plan all the OU event, the alumni events here, Laurel, was telling me, she said it multiple times, but it's like the owner of the bar, their wife is an OU alumni and she's the reason that they have like a flag. I think they have like the OU flag in the bar on the ceiling, and they've been hosting watch parties for all the games.
That is
Yeah.
so cool. I'm actually going to be in New York in January working on my thesis. So
No
I,
way. Oh, you're coming to interview somebody in New York, right?
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I wonder who it is that you're gonna interview, and I wonder if I've talked to them. Be like, oh, tell me more. But we'll touch base too. Oh, would you like to share your Instagram, like to contact you?
Yes, if you have any questions or you want to link and connect, my Instagram is Mimi_Calhoun, MIMI underscore CALHOUN. It's also my Twitter. Add me on LinkedIn too.
Yay! Well, this is lovely and so much fun to reminisce, re-educated about my OU hair like roots. Bye for now, as usual. And yeah, a lot of fun.
Yes. Bye. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And thank you for listening to ABC Adoptees Born in China podcast. You can reach me at Adoptees Born in China podcast on Instagram and Facebook and adopted babies from China at gmail.com. Have a good rest of your day, night, afternoon, wherever you are. Bye.